people are always like, kids don't need retinol, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely, you are correct. But if your child is breaking out at 10 years old and it is horrible, they should go on a retinol if that's what they need. And the reason why is the permanent damage from scarring is so horrible.
Yeah,
and
it takes
is
a long time.
you can't change that. Think of people you know now that have acne scars that it still bothers them. And it's like, for me, that alone would make me do anything that I needed to for my child.
Yeah.
I don't got it all planned out, but you know, I just watch it all pan out, 'cause I know that you know, covered in this life until forever.
Welcome, Shani Darden, to the Cool Mom Code podcast.
I'm so excited to be here.
Do you know how excited I am for this?
I'm more excited.
I don't think you realize, because I feel like I've known you for a very long time.
We have known each other for a long time. I wonder when we met each other, though, really.
I think we met around the same time that I met Jessica.
But where and when?
It was probably at one of these like events or something like that. And that was it, right? I mean,
We've known each other for a long, long time.
but that's a long time. I mean, I feel like you've known people longer. I feel like I'm like the new kid on the block.
I feel like you maybe only had one child when I first met you.
No, really? No, really? No.
Maybe. I don't know.
I know I didn't have my third. I know for sure.
No. I know that.
I didn't have my third.
No, I know that.
So I know you, that's for sure.
Maybe.
But maybe two. I don't know.
It's
but here
been
we
a
are.
long time.
Here we are.
Yeah, we're here.
We are. I have so much to talk to you
Okay,
about, because
I'm ready.
I love it, these interviews, when I actually know the guests personally, because I feel like we get to pull from a lot of different places. And so I like to start off a little bit from the beginning and then fast forward us into where we are now.
Okay.
And I think your story is so unique, and I don't think people really know it. And I know when I first heard your story, I was like, say what? And I think that there's just so much, there's so much grit that you have in you that people don't realize. I think people look at you, they see one thing, they think you're funny, they think all these things, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know that you really have been through a real journey in life. And
sure.
you've had to conquer quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I want to start there, though.
Okay.
I want to start upstate New York, right?
Yes. Upstate New York. I lived in a really, really small town. Very small town. And I hated it. I was one of I don't even know how many Black people there. And so I just hated it. I always hated it. I couldn't get hair products. I couldn't. It was just an awful place. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. So when I got the opportunity to model in LA, when I was probably 22, I literally just left and went and never came back.
To LA?
Yeah.
So you went straight from upstate to New York to LA?
Well, yeah, I was modeling in different places like Montreal, Canada. And then a scout found me and said, you've got to come to LA. I'm going to make you a huge model. And by the way, I didn't know anything about LA. There really isn't.
It's just what
modeling.
you see in the movies.
The modeling that I thought I was going to do was not the modeling they have here, because it's not here.
No, it's not. It's not the same.
So I just got on that plane. I moved here, and then I just got cast in music videos.
And this was at 22.
Yeah.
Okay, but take it before this, because growing up in upstate New York, you are mixed. So white mom, Black dad. Right?
White mom, Black dad. But I lived with my stepfather, upstate New York, white. And so, my brother and two sisters are also white.
Okay, so this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because you were the only Black child in a household.
Yes.
Being raised by parents who had really no experience with the Black community or Black hair or any of these things.
Although I will say my stepfather started Black Poetry Day, so that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But yes.
But yes, right? And in a community where there weren't a whole lot of Black people.
No, there weren't. We have Plattsburgh State is there, which is a university there. So there were Black people that would come to the university.
What about high school and all that stuff?
There were probably about 5 to 10 maybe Black people in the school, but I hung out with all white people.
Okay, so my question is for you, how did you identify when you were younger?
Oh, I went through it all. There was a moment I didn't like white people. Then there was a moment I didn't like black people. You didn't know who you were. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
go through all of that growing up.
Yeah.
So I knew that I was black,
Mm-hmm.
but I hung out with all white people. So I would hear all the time, "You're really not black."
Mm.
And I knew that was wrong.
Yeah.
But it's what you.
It's just what you.
I was with all white people.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Was there a point in time in your life where you felt like there was a shift in that, like in almost like how you identified, or do you just feel like
Oh
I know
no,
I'm
when
black and this is-
that's why I knew. I moved here and I knew. Same reason why, like, I have both of my girls here and would ultimately not like to live in Los Angeles. But
Yeah.
the thing about living in a city like this is they're not going to I'm not saying you're not going to have, there's not racism. It's
Right.
just very different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you experience racism when you were younger?
Oh my God. Yeah. Especially from all my white friends.
Really?
Oh yeah.
From your friends? How? Give me a story.
I don't know. They would just say the N word in front of me all the time.
No way.
Yeah. I got chased in a car by, after a soccer game. I had to my friend had to drive us directly to the police station because some girl was chasing me screaming the N word.
No
Yeah, it was
way.
horrible. But that's why I walked away from it and I was like,
How does your mom parent through that though? How does your mom and
not well.
stepdad parent through that?
Not well.
You know, like as parents, like as white parents of a daughter who is half black, how do you parent through
Not well.
someone calling your daughter the N-word?
Yeah, my mom was not good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by that? Not good at that? She just kind of ignored it?
I
or what?
remember, when I came home that day and I said that I had been chased, she was like, people aren't nice, kind of thing.
And
Like,
that was
it. Yeah.
So you never really felt like anyone validated
No.
those feelings and like, yeah, that's hard. That's
Yeah.
hard. That's
No,
like, that's
listen,
tough.
it sucks. I'm just not one of those people that, I think it's funny because a lot of people perceive me in a certain way because I don't need to tell the story. Like I lived the story. Believe me, I know what it doesn't matter. People think that I haven't experienced it because I'm so light skinned, clearly never have my real hair. And so people think that like somehow that makes it that I'm hiding from it. And that's why it didn't happen to me, but it was awful. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like that's how people looked at you? Like where you're hiding from your blackness?
Oh, 100%. I'm sure a lot of people still think that. I'm sure. Yeah.
And why? Why do you feel like that?
I don't know. I just think I remember hearing that growing up from it. I would assume people probably think that. And I also think there's something about, being light skinned that maybe I didn't get it as bad as somebody else, but like I had
a guest on Shanti Lori, and what was interesting is she was telling me the story, and when during this entire time that she was talking to me, I was thinking of you, because her story was similar in a way. She was raised in, I forget what town, like Colorado, maybe, I think it was. And she was the only black girl there.
Yeah.
And she was raised around all white people. And it was the same kind of vibe. She said that in kindergarten, a little boy called her a nigger. And she was like, oh my God, and came home bawling and crying. And, her mom like tried her hardest to parent through it. Her mom is white, I think, as well. And it was the same kind of story. And I just remember thinking like, ain't this about a crazy?
Yeah.
Like feels like Shani's story. Like it just was so similar.
Yeah.
And she said not until she came to LA, when she was basically, becoming an actress and all these things, they were asking her to play roles that were very quote unquote black.
Yeah.
And she felt like she was being an imposter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she talked a lot about their black experience.
Yeah.
And what I thought stood out the most was that the black experience is different for all black people. It's not this unified experience that everyone comes from. I'm from Detroit. My experience is very different from your experience,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's interesting and powerful to hear you kind of speak about it, because I think there are a lot of mixed race women who go through these sort of things, and they don't have, I think they feel like they're outside of the black experience because of it.
For
And
sure.
it's your black experience.
Yeah. It's definitely a trip, but
it's a trip.
That's the great thing about being in Los Angeles, though, for sure. That's the part that I love.
So do you feel like your LA, Los Angeles experience has been a more cultural one?
100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me. And I also know, like, I know that, it's just different. Like, it's going to be different for my girls. It's just going to be different. And I'm not saying that there aren't some losers out here that are definitely are racist. But overall, I mean, it's a more beautiful experience they'll have in that.
So racism, yes. I feel like it's not as apparent, probably. It's not as overt, maybe, as it is in other places. So I agree with you there. My concern always is that, especially coming from Detroit and being raised in like a city that is so cultural and it was such like, rooted in like Black history. I always get nervous about raising Black girls in school systems because we go to private schools, like it's a whole thing, that are predominantly white school systems. And so how do they identify and make sure they are constantly identified with themselves as Black girls, right? Like that's always my fear. And so in LA, yes, I feel like it is very like cultural and there's a lot of different people here and all this stuff like that. But I still feel like we're very segregated. I still feel like LA is not all like,
well, listen,
let's all kumbaya together and do
this conversation forever. I don't think it's the greatest place to raise your child.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money here and a lot of fame here. And we could go on about that forever. But I'm here and I feel that they're at least going to have, I hate even saying this because it's going to sound really awful, but it's cool. They're cool. It's cool to be Black and their friends want to hang out with them because they're Black.
Yeah.
Friends want to hang out with people that are gay. Like it is cooler.
Right.
That's not where I'm from. And so at least I have that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other problems.
Yeah. You're like at least I knocked down one thing.
The kids coming in 5th grade wearing a Prada purse, we could talk about that. So yes, I think it's a hard situation, but at least I'm taking away that element.
Yeah.
Because a small town can be rough.
Is LA your forever place?
No, I'm ready to go.
Where is next? Where would you go next?
I don't know. I actually have no idea. I always in my mind am like, I really want to move to Santa Barbara, but I don't know I assume that it's all white.
Yeah, Shani.
Well, listen, I only know that
Oprah
is there. Oprah is there.
Oprah's in Montecito.
Okay,
let's keep
fine.
it very 100.
So I really have no idea. I wouldn't know. I don't want to. I couldn't live in like New York City.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't make it. Like I would not survive. It's too rough for me. So I don't know. But like,
wait a minute. Why do you say New York is too rough for you?
It's just too panicky for me.
Oh yeah,
too like
because you have a lot of these like things.
Yeah, I don't like elevate. You want me to be in New York? I wouldn't survive.
So Shani does not like elevators, planes,
leaving
what else?
The house,
leaving anything that's outside air,
driving, freeways,
anything.
No,
you are like you get really nervous. Yeah. You get a lot of anxiety about it.
Yes.
So how do you cope with like living?
You get on the plane and you take pills and you don't go on the elevator unless you need to and you don't have to get on a freeway.
But what about when you do? You have to get on a freeway. You have to get on elevators. You live in Los Angeles.
I don't have to get on a freeway ever. And when I do, it's like to go to Santa Barbara and Tony's driving and he's used to my condition.
And so you just like sit back. Do you fall asleep in the car?
Never. No, I'm freaking out usually at the turns. Prepared for anything.
This is where Shani and Issa, my husband, really connected because planes are Issa's thing. He's like, he used to like not fly, like he just can't deal with it, blah, blah. Now he has a whole plane routine.
Oh, I should call him.
You should talk to him. Like he has a whole routine where he like, gets on and he's like, okay, don't talk to me for a second. He listens to Whitney Houston during takeoff. The exact same song, I think, every single time.
Wow.
Earpods in. He has like, he puts on a whole like mass situation. He like zones in. He's like, and it's Whitney. Whitney calms him.
So I took a fear of flying course on a fake plane. And the captain he was a captain that you take the class with. He has like a tape, like a hypnotherapy thing. And so I listened to that on the plane.
Wow.
Yeah, real, like you go to a set and there's fake planes. People shake it while you're in it to pretend like it's turbulence.
But what does that do?
Apparently not a lot because I'm still afraid of the plane, but I took the course.
No, I'm like, I don't see how that would help.
I'm just telling you I did it.
That's wild.
That should have been filmed alone, though. Can you imagine what a psycho? Me there on a fake plane with a bunch of other freaks.
All just freaking out.
Freaking out.
As someone's
someone
shaking the fake plane.
Fake plane.
No, I'm not doing that.
It was
I'm
the
not
best.
doing
I
that.
wish I had filmed that.
That's not happening.
Yep.
Just also a really quick note. If you're loving this content, our podcast with all of our amazing guests, we love sharing their stories. It really is such a joy for us. Then you're going to love thecoolmom.co. Make sure to head over there. It is everything that you can think of lifestyle. So we have fashion, food, we have amazing interviews with a lot of other cool moms as well. So check out all of our Cool Mom Co features, shop our merch, do all the things. Check out thecoolmom.co. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how, I don't know if we even mentioned, but you guys must know, Shani is the esthetician to the stars. She is a celebrity esthetician. She does literally every single face possible. You make everyone beautiful.
Oh my God, I love you.
It's just, you have a skill set that is unmatched. I mean, you really
that's
do.
Really nice.
Yeah, and I've been lucky enough, blessed by these hands too.
I had to force you to come, but it's fine.
You know what, Shani, can I be honest? I used to think that you didn't like me.
Really?
Yes.
Everybody says that about me, though.
I used to think you didn't like me.
Everyone always says
and
that.
I was like, it's all good. You know what I mean? Whatever.
No.
Like, no hurt feelings. I'm not a sensitive person. So for me, I was always like, all right, cool. No beef. Like, I'll still be cool with her. But I used to always feel like you didn't like me.
No. I love you.
Yeah, that's so, you know.
But I have heard that.
So to hear you say it, you had to force me to come in to get a facial.
I had to force you.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
I forced you.
Because it was probably because I didn't think you liked me. So I was like, you know what?
No.
Back over there.
I love you.
No.
I always have.
Shani, I think that you are so gifted. How there's a moment in time, right? And I think this is a really interesting transition for you where you have Phoenix and you weren't fully into your own practice or your own business but when Phoenix was born, right?
No, I worked at this place that I never talk about because the owner was so awful. But I worked at a spa.
Okay.
When
Phoenix was already alive.
Phoenix was born while I was working there. And then I was working as an esthetician there. Yeah.
Okay. And then by the time you had Lenny, you had moved in kind of your own thing.
I was working at a place called the Body Well.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got bigger, stomach-wise, I then moved into the back office of my house. And then everyone came and then I was like, oh, I'm not going back.
Yeah. This is interesting for me because I think a lot of women, especially mothers, the pivot. Right? The pivot is the hardest part. And a lot of times motherhood is the transitioning factor. It is that piece that they like don't even realize pushes them into something else. It was the piece that pushed me into something else.
Yeah.
Talking to so many female founders, it was the piece that pushed them into starting their business for the first time or saying, you know what, I'm done working for someone else. I'm on my own. Or, hey, this is what I really want to do. Whatever that piece is. Was that a factor in your piece to kind of say, you know what, I got this. Like I'm on my own now.
I don't think so. I hope that doesn't make me sound like a horrible person.
Not
I don't
at
think
all.
so. My brain doesn't work that way.
What was it then? What was it that was
what made me go on my own?
Yeah, that's a big, because that's a like let's not minimize it, right? You working for someone your whole, like your career, as soon as you decided that you wanted to go into, skincare and that was your field, you working in a dermatologist office or esthetician office or your trajectory, right, working for someone else is very different from you going out on your own in a place like LA where it is very skin focused, it is very beauty focused, and the beauty standards are extremely high.
Yeah.
So don't minimize that moment. So that's a huge moment. What was it that allowed you to say, hey?
Honestly, I was pregnant and I was miserable and I had gained a ton of weight and I was miserable. And I had a back office in my rental home and Jessica said, can you set up a place in the back of your room, in the back of your house? And I said, no one's coming to that. And she said, shut up, they will. And that's what happened.
And that was it.
That was it. And they wouldn't stop coming.
Wow.
They just kept coming.
Wow. Have you ever had to like advertise or is it just literally word of mouth for you? Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. I was really listen. I listen. I worked for a dermatologist right out of school, and that's not something that most estheticians can do, because why would a dermatologist ever want to hire you right out of school?
Right.
Well, I was lucky that Dr. B was crazy and she did. So I just learned so much more than you would ever learn, right? That would take years and years to even get to that point if you could. So I was working on people with like horrible acne. So I was able to learn all of these great skills. So what would happen is that a makeup artist would send me someone that, a model that was so broken out, and I would fix their skin, and then somebody else would come.
Right.
So that's where it came from. But
so that allowed you to see all types of skin conditions.
Oh, yeah.
It allowed you to really like get your hands into a lot of different skin problems that now you knew how to fix and like all that.
Yeah. So that's where it all came from. I was lucky. I was really fortunate. I mean, obviously I'm good at it.
Yeah, you're great at it.
I'm saying also I was taught by someone really great.
Yeah, you just have a knack for it though.
Yeah.
It's an interest. Why skin? Why not other things?
I don't know. I've always been obsessed. Since I was so young, I have no idea. I don't know where it came from. Since I was young, always mixing masks, forcing my friends to use them. I was obsessed with the Mary Kay lady growing up. Like,
no way.
Obsessed. I remember I wanted to go meet a dermatologist from a really young age. My mom took me we had to go to Burlington, Vermont, which was like an hour and a half away from my hometown. Like it was I've always been obsessed.
Has it ever been hard for you to juggle the business and family life, because you have 2 girls and you're a very active mother? So
it is. It's really hard, but also I have a lot of help. To be honest, I could never do that. I mean, there'd be no way. I've had a nanny since I had Lennon.
Yeah.
I mean, even before then, it's like an impossible thing. And then, now it's a juggle because we don't have a full-time nanny, but I have an assistant that can help. I have Tony can pick up. So it's
Tony's
a big
her husband.
Yeah, it's a juggling act, but you can't. It's not easy. I miss a lot of things. I try now more and more not to.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It's
definitely hard. It's a little different too, because in the beginning I was doing 40 facials a week. Now I own
40 facials a week. So what is that a day? How many is that a day? 8?
No, like isn't that like 5? I don't remember.
Are you including Saturday and Sunday?
Just Saturday. So that's 6 times 5.
Yeah, that's 30. That's not even 40.
I was doing more.
So like almost 7 facials per day.
Notice how I didn't do well in math.
I mean, I do great in math. So you see how I, knock that out real quick. But like 7, so basically like 7 facials a day.
So I was doing everyone, but now I don't. So it's much different. So the balancing is more of skincare. So a Zoom, like I'm here, Lenny had to come.
Yeah.
So whereas the facial days, no, I can't be bothered.
Right.
But I'm only doing them 2 to 3 times a week.
But you work to that point. I mean, you still had young kids.
Well, by the way, I would still do those 40 facials. But the one thing Sephora tells you is you're going to have to cut down on the facials in order to have a brand here.
Oh, really?
Oh, 100%.
Why?
Because there's no way you can't. How could I make products or focus on any brand stuff or do like. No.
What's been the favorite part of your business? Do you love doing facials more than you love creating products?
So it's different. So facials are that's my piece. So that's probably when people see me at peace the most. That's why I always like it if someone falls asleep or doesn't talk, because I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
So it's almost like my Xanax.
Yeah. But you know what though? I swear, like, facialists have to be like hairstylists in the sense of it's a very therapy type session.
Yeah.
People can kind of go in and spill the beans to you
hope it
in
doesn't
so many
happen.
ways. But they do it with you.
I know, but remember, most of my clients I've been seeing them for so long that they know exactly who I am.
Yes.
So they usually they have the first 30 minutes and then they know it's quiet time. The next half.
Did I not know that?
You took quiet time.
I do quiet time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good though. I don't really talk too much anyway.
Yeah,
because I'm like, this is silent time.
No, it's nice too.
It's
and
very
people,
nice.
I think, feel like maybe it would be uncomfortable to me, and I was like, I don't like to talk.
But what is your craziest story? Because people tell you stories. They tell you their business. So stop. What's like your craziest story that you've heard as an esthetician? Someone on your bed.
I have listened in on conversations that I shouldn't have been a part of about like legal shit happening with movies. I was one time.
Do people take calls while you're
on loudspeaker. I've had so many. I can't even. I don't even want to like give pieces, but I've heard like one person was talking about another actor in that they didn't want that person in the movie, but the other actor was a client as well, and I just had to sit and
like quiet.
pretend.
And you just have to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
You're the secret box.
But I was like, wow, I shouldn't be here. Oh, I have a really good one I'll tell you later where I was like, oh, hell no.
I want to know.
That one,
people want to know.
That one, no way. No way. Because everyone could guess that one.
I just feel like you know so much and you see so much. But also you know all of like the things that people are doing, like with their bodies, whether it's Ozempic, whether it's like, you know, everything.
That's where I'm really a good referral of plastic surgery or doctors. I know all of that stuff.
Do you, as an esthetician, because you focus so much on skin and how to fix it in a different way, do you believe in like plastic surgery and like all those sort of things?
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Botox?
So I get Botox in between my eyebrow. I do not like filler. Okay. I just told you.
PRP.
I just did PRP yesterday.
Okay.
I will report back later. I don't know if it's good.
Report back on the recommendation. Okay.
But what it is basically they pull out your blood. They took my blood out here, and then they spin it.
Okay.
And then they take, I guess, the good parts of your blood, and they will inject it into areas of your face. They also can do your scalp if your hair's thinning.
Okay. So this is an alternative to filler.
It's an alternative to filler. However, I will say, like, if you're sunken in on your cheeks, filler would be the only thing you could do. I just wouldn't do filler, but that would be what you would do.
Why is no filler for you?
I don't like filler only because I see some of my clients who are now in their 50s that were filling forever look wild now.
Why? Okay, wild.
And because I think that the other part of filler is that it doesn't actually leave, and people think
it dissolves, right? Or no?
No, I don't think it does. I think it stays there, and from what I understand, because I have talked to many plastic surgeons, they can come in and just basically scoop out the filler when they're doing a facelift. So no, I don't. I think it's there.
Okay, so filler stays, in your opinion. PRP, how long does that last?
So from what I understand, you notice after up to 3 sessions, 2 to 3 sessions. And what it does is it helps to boost collagen production. So I don't think you have to do it again. Maybe it's something you do once a year. I don't know.
You'll find out.
I'm on the journey and I'll report back.
Okay.
But now I'm very swollen, hence why I'm wearing the glasses.
Honestly, Shani has the most like beautiful skin in the world. I mean, you really do. I haven't started your regimen yet.
I saw you like 80 million years. What do you mean you're taking a break from when you're going to start it?
Yeah, I was like, because I really wanted to make a moment out of it. Like I really wanted to make a full moment out of it.
Start it.
Yeah, now. But I wanted to my first time, I wanted to like record it and like do all the things for you because I thought it was like kind. And so I was like, you know what? I want to make a full moment out of this for Shani. And so I have like a start date.
It'll be time for your next facial before.
You know, but facials are hard for me. I never get facials. So maybe that's why it was also hard to get me in your chair or your bed or whatever you call it.
I don't understand that.
In your room. I
just think you're a beautiful woman that you want to keep up.
I'm afraid of all of it. I'm afraid of all of it. The facial was great. I loved the facial. I'm afraid of everything else. And even afraid slightly of facials too often because I'm afraid you're going to bring up shit that it hasn't been brought up. Like, you're going to start messing with things and it doesn't need to be messed with.
Wow.
That's what I'm afraid of. And I'm afraid of all the other stuff.
You don't have to do the other stuff.
Everything.
And by the way, I'm doing it for you. I'll let you know. I'll report back. And when your time comes, we can inject you with your blood.
What is like a must for busy moms working on the go, who feel like they like have dark circles, they feel tired, they feel like their face is tired, maybe their face is sagging, whatever it is. What is
I
your
just think you have
recommendation?
to be on a good routine. It doesn't have to be a lot of steps. It's less is more. It's so simple.
So you do believe that less is more?
100%.
Oh, I
Keep it
love
so
this.
easy. You could even have 3 steps in the morning and 3 steps at night. Wear your sunscreen. If you can be on a retinol, be on a
I
retinol.
love
Stay out
retinol.
of the sun. Wear a hat.
What are
Like
your 3 steps? What are your 3 must
in the
steps?
morning, cleanse, vitamin C, and sunscreen. At night, cleanse. I switch to different serums, so it's cleanse, retinol, eye cream, moisturizer
Eye cream, moisturizer, and exfoliate once a week?
once a week
Exfoliate once a week.
in place of the retinol or whatever other active serum you're using.
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, it's easy in theory because you're so used to it. It's really not that easy. Taking care of your skin is actually a full-time freaking job.
Yeah, if you do
feels like
20
it.
steps, I don't want to do that.
Even with my little like 2-3 step program, it's like you have to I am so religious about it. At this point, like I know at night I do not fall asleep with my makeup on.
Good.
I like make sure to take it off. I don't
Okay.
care how tired I am.
Good.
In the mornings, I have to like wash my face and moisturize. When I'm getting dry, I have to figure out where, like, what is the cream? Like, let me get my heavier cream. It's like still a conscious effort.
I feel like Issa has a routine.
Issa has zero routine, which is the problem. I'm like, Issa, are you
That is
kidding me?
shocking.
It's shocking because he's a
He
handsome,
looks-
gorgeous
But
human.
he just looks like he would have a routine.
It's just rude. Every time I look at him, I'm just, you're rude. You're just a rude person.
That's interesting.
It sucks.
Shocking.
Yeah, it sucks living with people like that.
Mhm.
What I do love is that you incorporate your kids into your skin routine. How early should you start a skin routine with like teenagers and preteens?
I think
and all
as
that
soon
stuff?
as you can get your kids to start understanding, you start telling them. Like I was able to get her to wash her face earlier.
Mhm.
Lennon is 11 years old and it's so hard
Yeah.
to get her to. And then Phoenix started breaking out a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
So she was like not having it. So she has a full routine.
Mhm.
And she's on it.
When do you and this is for boys and girls, you suggest, right? As soon as they start. When do you suggest esthetician as opposed to dermatologist with younger kids with faces?
I guess it just depends. If they're breaking out a little bit, you could go to an esthetician, but if they are breaking out a lot, immediately a dermatologist.
Okay.
And I think one of the saddest things, because I used to work on really young kids, and so people are always like, kids don't need retinol, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely, you are correct. But if your child is breaking out at 10 years old
Mhm.
and it is horrible, they should go on a retinol if that's what they need. And the reason why is the permanent damage from scarring is so horrible.
Yeah,
and
it
it
takes
is
a long time.
you can't change that. Think of people you know now that have acne scars that
Yeah.
it still bothers them, and it's like
Well, I used to have in high school I didn't have horrible acne. It wasn't until I think I hit my like 20s that I started to like get really cystic acne around my period times. And then when I got pregnant,
I
bitch,
know.
forget about it.
Yeah.
I broke out so bad. I had to like stop modeling for a little while. Like I was like, "Oh my God, my face is I don't know what I'm going to do."
I know.
It was devastating. And so I think the scarring, it takes a long time for the scarring to go away.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for me, that alone would make me do anything that I needed to for my child.
Yeah.
Because I guess you just don't realize the thing about so many people are afraid of prescription medication, but if your kid is really broken out, you want to get rid of the acne as soon as you can
Mhm.
to eliminate the scarring. And the best way to get rid of it fast enough is a prescription.
Yeah.
My retinol could work,
Yeah,
but
that's
it
what I was
would
gonna
take
ask.
so much longer
Right.
for you to get to that.
Because
you
it's
know?
stronger.
Yeah. So
But how do you feel about things like Accutane? I mean, that's like
listen,
very strong.
let me just explain. Again, I will say this. If you have tried everything else
Mhm.
and your kid is that broken out, going through that is just, I mean,
It's horrible,
it's
right?
horrible for
Yeah.
a kid to struggle with that. And the judgment that people have, 100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to. It would be my very last step after trying everything else. I had a girl that worked with me recently who had already been on Accutane. She started breaking out really badly, and said, "Oh, I'm going back on Accutane." I said, "Please, let me just give you this prescription because I had it myself."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Please just take this. Please take it." It's a prescription called Tazorac, which is one of the strongest prescription retinols that you can get. It may be actually the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
And I begged her to take it. I was like, just take it. She took it. She started using it. What happens is your skin purges. She looked even worse. She kept saying, I'm going to go on Accutane. I said, can you please just keep using it? She kept using it. I just texted her. She actually moved away. I just texted her the other day and I said, how's your skin? And she said, honestly, it's the best that it's ever looked in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, so great. She
Yeah.
didn't have to go on Accutane.
Yeah.
But
she had to wait it out.
yeah, and sometimes you might have to go on it. And, a lot of people, listen, it's not the worst thing in the world. For some people, they don't have horrible side effects.
Right.
You don't have to go to a high dose, but that would be my last resort.
Yeah. Good to know. These
Yep.
are tips that we wouldn't know without you, Shani.
Acne
We'd
scars
have to
suck.
pay hundreds and hundreds of
Yep.
dollars just to get in
I
your
was-
chair, just to see these tips right here. But you guys, we are giving it to you.
Yep,
A Cool
I'm
Mom
giving it all
code
to you.
free. Look at that. All right. We know that we got to wrap up in a second because we're both really busy people, you more than me. So we are going to, I'm going to ask you a couple questions and we're going to play a game called The Craziest. And
wow.
this can be quick answers. They don't have to
Okay.
be super long.
I'll try.
But The Craziest, okay?
Okay.
This is your game. This is a game I created just for you, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
No one else has played this game. You are the first one breaking this in. So this is your game. The Craziest, okay? The craziest skin problem you've ever seen.
Not a skin problem, just crazy acne. I saw this kid that was about to be on a show, and he must have been about 15 years old. His acne was so bad that I could only do probably about a quarter of his forehead in an hour treatment.
Wow.
I can't even tell you. It was insane. And again, all I kept thinking is, how did his parent not, like, how is it
But now, so at that point, though, if he's about to go onto a show, does a studio hire you? Or does the parents find you? That's a good question.
He was going on the show. His son had acne for a very, very long time. And obviously was decided at that moment, like, we're about to be on this reality show.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So they paid for it.
Okay.
It was at the derm's office.
Okay.
But again, one of those things.
Yeah.
Where, and by the way, he went on Tazorac, clearest skin ever.
Wow.
Now,
look at you.
Tons
This is the
of
miracle
acne
product.
scars.
Okay. Craziest story someone has told you on your bed.
No.
Can't say.
I'll tell you after this is over.
No comment.
No.
That crazy. Okay. Craziest skin trend like on TikTok you've ever seen.
Oh, there's so many.
There's so many. What's the craziest? I have one at the top that someone just told me about yesterday, and I was like, damn, for real?
Can you tell me?
It was like glass face. They say it's very popular in other like cultures or whatever, and it's where you get Botox everywhere, all over your face. So I was thinking to myself, that sounds so crazy to me because you won't be able to move your face.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
You can't smile, laugh, anything. Like you just like this the whole time. I mean,
I think, I don't, you know what? I haven't paid attention to any recent ones, but they're all the layering and they're all kind of crazy. All the new gimmicky products.
yeah. What's a gimmicky product?
I don't want to do that.
Okay, you don't have to tell me. But you have to tell me. But there are a lot of gimmicky products.
Everything
so
that
stay
comes
away
out.
from the gimmicky
You know what
products.
it
How do
is?
you know? Okay, tell me this. Don't have to name names, but tell me what how do we spot a gimmicky product?
I don't know. A lot of times when it looks really great, like,
When it's too good to be true? Is that a gimmicky product?
it's like
okay.
something that looks cool, like, oh,
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know.
So it's super cool or too good to be true, it's a gimmick.
Yeah, when
Okay.
it's like a whole thing.
Okay.
You light it on fire and spin around and you're like, what?
And it
Like, it's
dances
just,
for
like,
you.
weird.
Okay,
And you're
got
like,
it. Okay, that's fair.
about
I'll take
retinol?
that.
You
I'll
know what I
take
mean?
that. Just
Okay.
retinol.
Yeah.
Just go with retinol. Okay, well, you can't tell me the craziest client experience. Tell me don't tell me the name of the craziest client, but tell me like what your craziest client would do. Like, do they demand you come in at 2 a.m. for a facial? Do they literally talk the entire time on speakerphone on your chair? What do I call it? A chair or a bed? It's
A
a
bed.
bed in your room.
I've had a client that my kids were there and she freaked out. like kind of screamed when I went to extract her, and it was really crazy to the point I thought I wouldn't see her again, and my kids were really worried.
Oh,
They still
wow.
talk about it,
Wow. Okay.
and it was someone very well known,
Okay.
and that was weird. And I actually
What was it? Was she just like, she was like, just
so
because you
she
were
had
doing
had a bad
extractions?
experience with somebody else. So when I went to extract her,
She
she didn't
screamed.
want to be extracted and like flipped out.
Wow.
And I didn't want to see her again because I was like, why are you here with me then? You could have, I can tell you a million other places you should, you know what I mean?
But
Like,
how do
I
you
know
handle a situation like that? How do you calmly
I
like,
said that I thought that she should leave
wow.
and that we could like, she could think about it and blah, blah, blah. And then she actually apologized months and months later. And now I see her all the time and she's one of my favorite people.
Wow. Wow. Okay, nice. And then craziest fake product that all insiders know about that doesn't work. Well, you can't tell me.
No. Like the majority of shit that's out there.
I just want to tell you this game sucked.
Well, you know what? What am I supposed to say? I keep thinking like, suppose this person is listening. Like,
No,
what?
you're absolutely right.
I'm not
don't
going
be that
down like
person.
that.
Don't go down
Because
like
they'll
that.
know.
Don't go down on
They
the Cool
will
Mom
know.
Code podcast at all.
They
Don't
will
go
know.
down. Okay, finish this sentence for me. I'm a cool mom. Of course I'm a cool mom because
I mean, I don't think I'm a very cool mom.
you are a cool mom. So finish the sentence.
Well, because
Shani.
I know what to buy at Sephora. That makes me very cool.
I like this. That's a good
Although
one.
I have to say that my kids asked me just recently to take them to get Drunk Elephant stuff.
Oh.
And I was like, that's so not right, really.
It's so
but
funny. Yeah.
guess
I
here we
just
go.
heard about Drunk Elephant the other day
Oh
too
my
for the
God.
first time. And I was like, that's such an interesting name for beauty products.
Oh yeah, and
But
just
it's the
keeps
whole
going. It
yeah.
keeps going.
But it's like all the rage.
Oh, the
But
kids love
Sephora
it.
is everything.
I think the kids also love it because Northwest and Penelope.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, they love it.
Oh, that's what it is.
They're all over the
They're
TikTok.
trendsetters.
They're
What can
going
we
crazy.
say?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Thank you,
This was
Shani
beautiful.
Darden, for coming.
Next time we'll film the facial.
Yes, next time let's film the facial.
Yep.
I'm gonna do my whole routine.
Yep.
I'm gonna start it so all the people can like see all of your products at work.
Yep.
And I'm just really proud of you. I really
I
am.
love you.
I really am. I'm proud of
Oh,
you and
great.
congratulations on all your success. And I just want you to keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
I love
Keep
you.
going.
And I love your
you.
hair.
But thank you. Thank you.